Does anyone know what this one is? Foursquare. Foursquare is a location-based.
Did you check in here before we started?
I was like, what?
Are you the mayor of the Health
I am
Professions
not the
Building?
mayor of the health. I am the mayor of a lot of random places though. Foursquare is a location-based micro-blogging site. You can check in at different venues. There are privacy options, so you can either share that only with friends, you can share that with no one. The idea is that you kind of let people know where you are, and based on that, you can find people who share similar interests with you. I checked in at the Irish pub in downtown South Bend one night. 15 minutes later, someone else checked in, looked around for me. That got a little weird, but we ended up meeting and had a good conversation. So there's some great uses there. This is really fun to use with students. If you check in more times than anyone else, you become the mayor of that location. And so student affairs have found ways to offer incentives. The mayor of our housing office gets a prize at every program they attend. So if you're the mayor and you happen to be at that program, we'll award you with a prize. A lot of local businesses will give discounts. Our dining services offers a discount to the mayor of the cafe. Crazy things. We're having fun though. Is anybody using Foursquare on their, like in their office to check into programs or events? No. It's slowly building with students. I actually found that fewer of our students know what it is than fewer of my friends, so it seems to be trickling down to that age group. But our students are really getting on board with it. They love being able to say that they ousted me as being the mayor of my own office. Congratulations.
Would you like my workload to go
And,
with that, right?
and you can keep this on. So that's Foursquare.
Well, the other thing too, I think it's important to know about Foursquare is that they finally have allowed universities. There's Foursquare University, so like USI can have its own Foursquare location, and then you can start to break down the different locations within the university. What was happening before is that people were just setting up their own. So if I was here in the Health Professions Building and I checked to see if I could check in here and I didn't see one, I could then go and create that space, and then I would tag it how I wanted it. Well, this allows universities to have a little bit more control over whether I deem the Health Professions Building to be a recreation space for me, maybe I run around the hallways, whether it's actually an education building, you know, so that the university can help control its brand a little bit more, which is really why universities, on some level, were screaming to say, hey, we need to have this.
I totally get why these things are important and we want to connect with students, and these are the kind of ways that they connect. How much time? I mean, I'm so busy already. How can I do all of these things?
And that's a great question.
Yeah.
I recommend not doing all of them. Pick one or two that really work for you. We focus our energy on our Facebook page, our Flickr, and our YouTube. We found that those are really what our students are using. That's where they want us to be. That's where they find the most value in our relationships. That doesn't mean that we don't play with Foursquare and do things like, okay, you become the mayor, because that doesn't require any effort on our part. That's totally managed by Foursquare. All it requires is one of our staff members verifying that someone's the mayor when they show up and say, I want my free pack of cards from MTVU. I recommend really being picky about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, especially if you don't have the resources to hire someone. We've also delegated some of our social media stuff to students. We have a new media major on campus, and so we offered a work-study position. That was 10 hours a week. They worked with me to develop our Facebook content. They help upload pictures and tag our residents in them. They don't actually answer questions or post status, but do more of the behind the scenes, making the events look fun and exciting and keeping those things up to date.
And one of the things that we emailed David earlier this morning, he'll email it out to you. It's a PDF. It's 70 pages long. Don't be overwhelmed by it. It's on the Nonprofit Social Media Decision Guide, and that's one of the things that they tell you to do. They walk you through not everything that we're showing you here, because we're trying to be intentional about what are the things that students and maybe others on your campus, faculty and staff, might be more attuned to. But how do you make those decisions about what's going to work for what you need? So, you know, what happens over in student enrollment programs, they may choose different things than what the library may focus on. And advisors may choose something very, very different than what the rec center may need. So I think that this should be very helpful to you. I'll pass this one around if you just want to leaf through it while we're continuing. As we get past, we've only got a few more of these little things to go. We're going to show you some questions to consider as you develop what we're calling it a social media plan, which is really what you're talking about. For your functional area, for your purposes, what should your social media plan look like? So that you do exactly what Stacy said. Don't try and do all of this, because the audience that you are trying to connect with may not connect with all these things. And that's when it gets overwhelming.
Any other questions? One of the other neat things about Foursquare is that people can leave tips after they check in. So little hints for people who may check in after them. Like if you're at a restaurant, you may say, oh, this special on Tuesday nights is the cheese pizza and it's really awful, don't order it. My residents leave tips about which buildings are the best to live in or which programs they really enjoy. And fortunately, none of them have left negative tips, but if they were, we don't have any control to delete those. But they've really left positive things so that as prospective residents check in while they're on a tour, a list pops up with all these great things that our residents love about housing. So that's worked out well for us very unintentionally. Does anyone know what this one is? Excellent. Do you
I used your notes and.
Oh, that's right, he got the preview, he's cheating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delicious is a social bookmarking web service. It's owned by Yahoo. They threatened to shut it down about 3 months ago, and the outcry from the public was so huge that they backed off and were like, JK, we would never shut that down. We were lying. So Delicious allows you to bookmark a website, just like you might do already in your Firefox browser, your Internet Explorer browser, but you can share those bookmarks then. So I use my Delicious account to bookmark articles for myself about residence life, student affairs, housing, things that I'm interested in personally, like recipes that I want to make. And then I can share those with people. So if there's something I want Julie to see, I can give her access to the residence life tag in my Delicious account so that she can see all of those articles I've bookmarked. So there's been some use of it that way. I haven't actually used any of that with my students themselves, but I use that more professionally. Do you use Delicious?
We use it actually in a classroom environment. I don't know if any of you teach smaller classroom, actually large ones would be fine too, but you're going through and you're finding a lot of these articles as they come through, and you give your students access to that particular tag. You know, if it was, the subject was residence life that week, you were teaching an overview or a survey of student affairs course, and you're talking about residence life, you can give them access to that tag as they're reading. And again, that way you don't have to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to scan all of these articles in and put them up on, we have Blackboard, up on Blackboard, so the students have to go get them and then download them. It's just, all they have to do is visit that one place and they can dig through them.
So there's some use for that, if they keep it around.
Yeah, if it allows to, it's allowed to live.
Does anyone know this one? This one's probably a little more rare.
Digger?
Dig,
Dig,
and
yeah.
it used to be Digger. Dig is a social news website. It allows you to interact with news headlines and articles. So if you really liked an article, you can click the Dig button, and that will help promote the article so that it's more visible on their website. It also aggregates with other websites like Facebook. So if you have other people using Dig, you can see what articles they dig. I think we decided dig, but just conjugation. You can see what other articles they digged, and so it helps promote articles that people find interesting. If you connect with other people, like if Julie and I were connected on Dig, then you can also share articles that way. She could see what I really liked and thought was helpful. And even though she may not agree, because everything's like Perez Hilton, she could at least see what I thought was worth sharing and promoting with other people. I have used this one with my students a little bit, articles, because I give them a professional development topic every week, and so send out a couple of articles and then ask them to dig the ones that they found most useful. So there's some opportunity there to share resources with students. This one?
Angry Birds.
See, y'all knew that one. Angry Birds is not technically social media, we just really like it.
Love it.
But it also shows you how far an app can go. This started out as a silly little game, and now it's a board game. It's turning into a TV show, so you never
A
know.
little stuffed Angry Bird in my office.
It's so addicting.
It's ridiculously addicting.
There's a
Yeah.
YouTube video of people who made a birthday cake based around Angry Birds
Wow.
with actual birds that they could shoot. Check it out.
See, YouTube and Angry Birds.
And Angry Birds, we got yeah, the two pieces of social media. I love it.
We're changing lives here, people.
Okay, there it is.
This one,
Anybody know what that one is?
I am about to change your lives. Brace yourselves. I'm like the Oprah of social media here. This is Tumble. Tumble is an online scheduling system that will sync with, do you all use Outlook? Okay, perfect. It syncs with your Outlook calendar. So when you have one of those people, because we all know those people, who want to exchange 37 emails about when the best time to meet is, or a student who emails and says, when are you available, you can send them a link to your Tumble. They can't see what the events on your calendar are. They can only see that you're not available. It will change your life. I don't get into email spars with people anymore. My Outlook calendar is updated. As soon as they say, when are you available, copy and paste the link, here's my availability, please submit a time that you'd like to meet. And they can go right to the website, they don't have to have an account. They can just highlight times that they're available to meet, send it back to me, and then I choose from what they submitted. It's so easy to use. Am I changing lives in the back? Did that just happen?
Advising appointments, just right there, right?
Yes. I
RA
love it.
interviews.
It's perfect for meeting with committees in professional organizations as well, when somebody's like not even on your campus and wouldn't be able to get into your Outlook. It's great for that. Like I'm on a committee with people from all over Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and so my calendar just goes out. I actually keep it in the subject line of my email, or the signature of my email. So when parents even say, I'd like to talk to you, great, my availability is here, let me know when you'd like to talk to me. It's also helpful because my staff assistant isn't always at her desk, and so rather than them playing phone tag with her, I keep my calendar updated, I know I'm free at those times.
2 questions.
Mhm.
TUNGLE?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Second question. Did you say it connects with your, you can sync your Outlook?
Yes.
with it?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
It's pretty amazing when it comes to scheduling appointments with folks who have 18 different types of calendars. And, and I know a lot of students will do that. I mean, if you're really trying to schedule RA interviews, OL interviews, and you have these blocks open and you want to give them some type of control instead of you're going to be here at this date and this time, they can then go look and see what's available, pick what time works for them and fill it in. You can also consider doing it for conduct interviews. I mean, if you really need to sit down and have a student conduct session with somebody, that may be a way to do it as well. Even though it's a lot more convenient for you, and Stacey has converted me, I'm going to go set mine up when I get home. I know. It gives, and this thing may sound a little bit devious, so forgive me. It gives the person on the other side the illusion of control. I mean, you're really controlling what they see, so you know you're not going to get overbooked or overscheduled. But they then have the power to go in and choose based on what you have, what works best for them. So people end up a little bit happier, and you don't have grumpy administrative assistants trying to figure out a time of what's going on between that person who's not being clear about their schedule and your schedule that's a complete nightmare. It really does make things easier.
And it adjusts for time zones, like it
Yeah.
does everything. You can tell it how many hours a day you want it to display. So if you don't ever want to meet with someone after 4 p.m., it just cuts
Block
off
it
at
out.
4 p.m. They don't have to know where you are after 4. It's also been really helpful for me because business hours mean nothing to my students. I'm assuming it means nothing to students here too.
Yeah.
And so I get these emails at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what was going on? But it's perfect because I wouldn't have responded, but my calendar was like, "Hey, that works for her. Thanks." And they're like, they think it's the best thing ever. So, and you can also block, like I don't take same day appointments. So it immediately blocks things out hour by hour as we go through the day so they cannot get in unless they contact and say I have an emergency.
And do you have to have an Outlook calendar for it to work?
Oh, no.
Nope,
They
you
do
can set up-
everything.
Yeah, you can sync with a bunch of different calendar formats, or you can just have a Tungle out there that has general hours that you're free.
So I could do it the other way around with like my honor student council, ask them to use it, and I can see when they are free.
Yeah.
to make a
Yep.
meeting, so.
Absolutely.
Either way.